Most people think the Men in Black started somewhere after the 1947 Roswell incident. But what if I told you that they've been appearing for over 1,000 years? And according to old records, every time that they have shown up, something terrible has followed. So the year is 1559, and a group of farmers near Brandenburg, Germany, noticed these figures moving through their oat fields. And at first, there are 15 of them, and then they dwindle down to 12, and they're all dressed in complete black outfits. Some appear to have oddly shaped heads, and others have faces that some witnesses later described only as fearful. And each of these figures carry a long scythe-like instrument, and the farmers are assuming that they're harvesting their grain. But then they realize something even more horrifying. These figures are swinging their tools through the crops, and yet the oats are not falling. Nothing is being cut, nothing is being harvested, and the strange swishing sound can be heard from far away. But whatever that these figures are doing, it isn't farming. Their townspeople then begin to rush out to confront them, and the figures ignore everyone. They continue their strange sweeping motions through the crops, and then they're simply gone. No footprints, no explanation, just up and gone. They literally vanished before them. And according to a German plague chronicle later that was referenced by historians, a devastating plague then struck shortly after. Thousands eventually became sick, and many had died as a result. But here's where it gets a little bit creepier. This wasn't the only report of it. Throughout medieval Europe, witnesses described these dark figures in all black appearing just outside of towns, and sometimes they're carrying these scythes, we'll call them, and sometimes brooms, sometimes long rods or swords. And according to the stories, they would move these objects through the air in a broad sweeping motion around all the homes and the fields and the city walls. And then, literally within days, disease would arrive. And one researcher later pointed out that, something a little more disturbing was that these instruments never seemed to be designed to cut anything down. The witnesses specifically said that they weren't cutting crops. There was no result of that. So what were they doing? Some people believe that they were symbolic visions of death itself. Others think that they were hallucinations caused by fear. But a few researchers propose something much stranger. What if they were spreading something? What if the movements weren't harvesting, but instead they were dispersing the disease itself? And then came another sighting in 1571. These villagers in what is now Slovakia looked toward a nearby hill during Ascension Day celebrations, and what they saw absolutely terrified them. Hundreds of black riders sitting silently on horseback. And many people thought that, maybe it was an Ottoman invasion, something like that was about to begin. And families prepared to flee and fight. Church bells rang out, but before anyone could react, the riders literally vanished again, completely right before them. And shortly afterward, another plague broke out, and that began. And the cycle began to happen again and again. The same pattern, same black figures, then death itself arrived. And if that wasn't strange enough, several chroniclers recorded another detail about it. Years before some outbreaks, strange objects appeared in the sky. Dark comets, unusual lights, celestial phenomena nobody could ever explain. And then first these lights again. Then the Men in Black, then the plague. That same order every single time. And some historians believe that this may have inspired one of humanity's oldest symbols, the Grim Reaper, the black-cloaked figure carrying the scythe, not as a artistic invention, but as a description of something that people believed that they actually saw. Now, maybe these were misunderstandings, maybe it's folklore, maybe just mass panic, but, part 2 is much stranger, because centuries later, the Men in Black stopped bringing disease, and instead, they started bringing impossible knowledge. So, one of them may have handed a man the secret to turning lead into gold. And let me know what you think in the comments, and go check out part 2.